Well, hello, it's Sean McCarthy. Once again, another session by which we can all work together to make our businesses better, more profitable, and for you to live more fulfilled and happier lives. Today we're going to talk about 7 ways to increase revenues. We're going to give you some real-life illustrations that show you how some businesses have gone from perhaps 60,000 annual sales and in 1 year of transformation up to over $1 million. Sounds interesting, right? Let's get started. So I have here, and if you're interested at the end, I'll give you the opportunity to reach out to me and get this particular document by which you can build your own plan to increase your revenues in the next 30, 60, 90 days and to perhaps double your income in a short period of time. So 7 ways to increase revenues. What are they? So let's get to it. Number 1, obviously, make more sales. How do we do that? I'm going to show you an illustration here in a moment. Number 1 is, got to have more prospects. How can we do that? There are over 100 tactics that I can share with you by which you can increase by magnitudes the number of prospects that enter into your sales funnel. Sales funnel is that vertical shape. Now let me just draw it out here for you. Your sales funnel looks like this. And at the end, down here at the bottom, that's where Mr. Customer comes in. Up here at the top, we need to fill this funnel with prospects. So right now, how many prospects do you generally get a day, a week, a month? Do you know how much it costs to get those prospects in the door of your operation? These are all factors. If you're not tracking now, we want to start developing the methodology by which we can track that. So we want to get more people in our store. And then the second part of this making more sales is converting them. What's your conversion rate, or what we call effective success rate? How skilled are you at taking that prospect you've worked hard to get into your operation and converting them into an actual customer that loves, enjoys, and values the product or service you provide? Those are 2 critical steps. Make more sales. Number 2, when you finally have that customer, let's sell more often to them. There's a story that we have in this reading. We talk about the candle manufacturer. You can see it there below, where this person sold perhaps once, maybe twice a year for religious holidays. We started exploring, and she was a very successful operator. We started exploring ways by which she could sell more often that same person. How about holidays, special events, birthdays, anniversaries? Were there other opportunities by which that special candle arrangement, and you're going to see here in 3 and 4, she was able to offer other aligned products and services that accentuated that candle that she was selling, a simple candle. So she was selling more often, not just around Christmas or Thanksgiving, but around the year for special events. So sell more often. How might that apply to your particular business? Sell something else. And I mentioned with the candles, but let's think about it. Sell something else. I have a customer who has a flooring store, calls himself Flooring and Interiors. Well, why isn't he also selling window coverings? Why not granite countertops, cabinetry? Are there other opportunities for this individual when you work hard to get Mr. Customer in that your product or service is aligned or complementary to other products and services? Think about clothing stores. How about ladies who go in and buy accessories? Why are they not also buying a handbag with those shoes or with earrings with that ensemble? So look for other opportunities to sell something else, because what does that do? Well, number 4, make larger sales. We're all familiar with men's clothing stores. Buy 1, get 2 free. Buy 3, get 2 half price. Buy a suit, get 2 shirts half price and a tie. So how can we, when we get that customer in our store, we want them there more frequently. We want to increase the size of the transaction by adding great value to the transaction with other products, and again, also sell something else, other things that complement or seem to be well aligned with the product or service we're offering. So make larger sales. Number 5, increase your prices. We use the example here in the reading of BMW, Bavarian Motor Works. After the World War, the Bavarian Motor Works stood up. They were considered a lower value type of automobile. By doing some effective marketing, expressing the high quality of workmanship and the value in the limited production of this vehicle, BMW now is surmised as a high-quality brand that offers incredible driving experience. In fact, that was one of their marquee slogans, was the experience, this wonderful driving experience. So that could be a great way by which you can increase your prices. Show that extra value, track it, tangible. Think about what's in it for me, Mr. Customer. What is it they're going to want, and why is it so special that they should be buying from you as opposed to your competitors? So we're going to talk about strategies by which you can easily increase your prices. Make more profitable sales. So we oftentimes, there's a fond maxim that we have in the business community: who's your who? Who is your customer? Many of us are small business owners. When you get started, well, my customer is anyone who's willing to do business with me and write me a check, right? Run that credit card. Well, as you become more successful, you do need to specialize and become more focused into those customers that offer you the best experience for both parties, that you're giving them great value, they appreciate you, and that you're getting great margins and great satisfaction out of servicing them. So perhaps you're a retailer, maybe you're a service provider, wherever the case may be, but there are certain customer types, and we look at this psychographically, we really want to be very focused on who it is that is our best customer. Think about those customers you love working with and very much appreciate what you provide. Those are the customers we want to model and get more of those types. There are customers that we don't make a profit on, that in fact create a lot of degree of frustration. They're not happy, you're not happy, you're going out, you're returning product, they're returning product, you're having to rework work that you had done in the past. No one's really happy. Let's figure out how we can eliminate that type of customer and focus on who we are really good at. So that's an important part. Think about who are our most profitable customers. Then also think about not only the customer, but now the product. There are certain products. I have a customer that has 36,000 SKUs, stock keeping units, and 36,000 products they have on board. The old 80-20 principle comes into play, Pareto's principle. That is that 10 to 20% of everything that we do produces 80% of our success. In the inventory world, we find that in this case, in this customer's case, my customer, an operator in Colorado, 10% of their SKUs, 3,600, and actually it's less, give them almost 90% of their sales and profits. So why are they carrying the other inventory and tying capital up in there? So think about this. Make more profitable sales. Who's my who? What are my most profitable and most enjoyable and most well-aligned customers? And the same thing with the products and services we're carrying. Okay? Let's get focused. Let's work smarter, be more profitable, be happier. Number 6 is a super important principle. So the last one, and then we're going to get into some real life examples. And if you're following along, please be prepared to take notes, and I will give you the Way to Wealth worksheet and be available to help you develop your own plan off of this important insight. But reduce your selling costs. Some people have associates, they're paying commissions. You'll see here in the reading marketing collaterals, brochures, catalogs, independent distributors, strategic allies, things of this nature. Your cost of goods. Are there opportunities for you to get raw materials or products that you're selling at lower prices if you buy at certain times or in certain quantities? So we will talk about all of that and how we can reduce our cost of goods, how we can reduce our overhead, and effectively market to the ideal who, the ideal customer, with the ideal products and services by which we can reduce our selling costs. So, sound interesting? Good. Let's get to some real life examples. So, I think we can all relate to this if you're following along, the 3 frustrations of business owners. We just started the 7 ways to increase your revenues. We want more customers, we want more revenue. In number 6 and 7, we talked about getting more profit. So, Stephen Covey, 7 successful habits, right? He says, always start with the end in mind. One thing I want you to do right now with your pen and paper, write out where you were last year and write out where you're going this year. As I'm doing this particular session, we're in the middle of March of 2017. What did you do in your business revenue-wise in all of 2016? Where are you at so far as we near the end of the first quarter in 2017? And what is your goal? What's the ideal? A goal should be something that stretches you, but it's also realistic. So if you did $750,000 last year, is it reasonable to shoot for $1 million in revenues. When we talk about incremental improvements, if you can improve 1% in all the categories I'm going to show you here in a second, dealing with the 7 ways to increase revenues, we're going to dig deep into 4 critical levers in your business that can incrementally, if done well, 1% improvements every month, compounded throughout the year, you'll find can literally almost double your revenues and profits by the end of the year. And it's not too late to start. So what is our goal for this year? And then let's back that in. If we want to get to $1 million, that means we need to have X amount per month. In this case, over almost $84,000 a month in sales. Well, how do we do that? How many customers will that be? How many prospects need to come in the door at our current conversion rate? And what's our sales amount per transaction? And how many times will Mr. Customer come back and engage with us in a commercial transaction? So start with the end in mind, and that's going to allow us, as you'll see here, with our next steps, to build a formula. So customers, how many? That's formula number 1. Revenue, how much? How do we get there? And the third formula is our profit. And what does it look like? I'm going to give you an illustration. We're going to get to this formula here. This is an illustration. This is done off a financial planning company that we did business with a couple years ago. They would get 180 leads a year. And they said, Sean, we'd like to see, we don't think we can always get 1% improvement, but if we did that, compounded, it's roughly about an 18% improvement. Let's cut that in half, round it up, and let's call it a 10% improvement a year. What would that look like? So if you had 180 leads, if you follow me here, and we did a 10% improvement, let's get 198 prospects. We're at a conversion rate of 20%. I think we can do it, almost 1% improvement a month. If we do some tactics to be better, get a better who, focus on better prospects, become a little better in our customer engagement, our expression of value, we can go up to 22%. So you can see in this example, that means previously they would have 36 customers at their current, what they did last year, operational tactics. We could take them up to 44 customers. Wonderful. We just improved the number of customers. Even if we stopped right there, we're going to have more success, more revenues, and more profits. But we can do better. So then we go to average sales. So per transaction, this firm was doing $12,000 per transaction, 10% improvement. How can we increase either through prices, sell more well, we'll get to that next. Sell more items, increase our prices. We could take it up by 10% over the course of a year to $13,200 per transaction. Sales per period. In this example, if we had 10 customers, maybe only one of them will do more than 2. They might do 3 transactions with us a year. But overall, that's 2.2 sales per period, in this case a year, versus 2. You can see what that does. 864 was last year. We took it up to almost 1.3. So the other pieces, here again we have our revenues. The other 2 levers, we did 4 levers about growing revenues. Now, how can we reduce our costs? Cost of goods sold, we talked about some strategies by which you can buy in different quantities, buy in certain times of the year. Also focus on certain products. Don't buy SKUs or products or services incurring costs that are less profitable for you or that are not as attractive or compelling to your customer. Again, knowing who our who is. So if you do that, you can see here in this example, 10% improvement over the course of a year, and I would challenge you that you could probably do quite a bit more. I want to show you a real-life example in which we did far greater than this, but we reduced our overall, as a percentage of sales, cost of goods. Gross profit increased from 604 to 932, and then our overhead. Overhead's a tougher one. That's, in my case, I keep a very lean, mean machine. I contract. I don't keep employees on hand. I don't lease out a lot of space. If I keep inventory, it's just in time. It comes in. It goes immediately out to a customer based on that transaction being closed. So I do not try to keep much fallow inventory around. So in this example, that's our goal here with overhead. Be as small as you can. Can you get utility costs down? Can you negotiate better deals with your rent? Not always in all of these levers you're going to be able to pull them and maximize return, but focus where you can. In this area here, we try to show a 10% annual improvement. So what does that give us for the net? Nearly a doubling, 76% increase in revenues from $290,000 to over $500,000. Let's give you a real-life example. I want you have your paper in front of you and some pen. Off of the example I gave you the 6 levers. We talked about the 7 ways to increase revenues, right? Make more sales, raise your prices, have a higher frequency of transactions, not just once a month in this food truck example we're going to give. Think about it. They had 50 sales per day. The average sale was $5, and they were only open 240 days a year. Right off of that, again, make more profitable sales, larger sales, sell more things, sell more often, raise your prices, have more customers, and reduce your expenses to sell. Thinking about that, write down 3 or 4 things that come to mind by which this food truck business, a real one that we dealt with, went from $60,000 a year in revenue to over $1 million. What can we do to generate over $1 million? So write down a few ideas, and here we go. Here's what we did. And I'll let you take a look at it. As you can see, they offered combos. That's selling more, selling other things, right? And then they improved the product. So again, selling other things. When they came in, they only had one choice. Maybe it was a ham sandwich that day. Here they had combos. They added a veggie item. They also had to buy a box for home. They might have had some other items that went in there. So for an additional few dollars, they were able to sell more things and offer greater value. When a customer came that one time, they were able to make larger sales and sell more items. They bought a second truck to double their sales, so another location. They were only doing lunch. Well, they went took that other truck and they set up at commuter hotspots. This particular operation was done off of I-25 in Colorado, and they set up in a commuter hotspot in the morning and focused on coffees and muffins, and also was advertising to let people know, hey, we do lunch and we're at these areas. Oh, and by the way, why not buy a lunch right now? So the third truck gave them increased visibility, as you can see. They did sporting events. There's a local university, a junior college, and there are several high schools for this particular food truck. So they started doing sporting events. So they wouldn't, in the past, would have set up for lunch and been done. They did the morning, and now they were doing in the evening sporting events, especially during football season. So they also did recipe books. They did cooking classes. They formed an alliance. So there were courier services. So we had some charter schools in this particular community that would have 100 to 150 kids, did not have a commercial kitchen. The kids would get outside and they'd walk to a nearby restaurant and bring bagged lunches. They started contracting with these schools to actually, on special days in recognition for certain classes, they might get 30, 40, 50 box lunches they would bring to the schools. They would ally with the courier service to deliver it so they could stay on the site with their current customer base. It was brilliant. So they were able to maximize use of their production facility, not only at their location, the point of sale, but with an ally who would pick it up on commission and sell it. Another commission person would pick up meals on a commission basis, and they would go to local downtown office buildings and sell the products. So another way of marketing where these folks earn a commission as a commission salesperson would go to high-density office buildings in the community to push additional product. So you can see this when we continue on. They did seminars. They set up some other locations. And at the bottom there, total revenues, they were over $1 million. So they went from $60,000 over $1 million in a year's time. And it took some capital and some planning, some great execution. Pretty inspiring, I think. Something we could do for our businesses. Is there some analog here? I think so. So what I want you to do is fill in your 2016 numbers. If you need a worksheet, a Way to Wealth worksheet, at the end here, I'm going to give you my website. You'll go to that website, click on the upper right-hand corner, contact, give me your name and your email address, and request a Way to Wealth worksheet, and I will email it to you. In it, and take notes here, you're going to fill in what you did 2016, what your revenues were, cost of goods, which gives you your gross margin or operational margin, and then you're going to fill in your other expenses, and that's going to give you your profit margin. What is your goal to do incremental improvements for the year? Can we improve by 10% in all of those categories? Can we improve by 10% in revenues? Can we reduce our cost of goods by 10%? Can we reduce our other expenses by 10% and increase our profit by, it'd be more than 10, wouldn't it? And the example I gave you was 76%, and then that food truck, dramatic increase, hundreds of percents, right? So let's think about that. Can we identify a target increase that you want to apply to your inputs? Do the math, see where your revenue and profit land, and let's set goals for 2017. So right now, if you don't want to do the worksheet, write down 2 strategies that you glean for your lead generation, how you can get more people into your business. Conversion strategies, how are you going to increase, you're at a 10% conversion rate, which is very good. The example I gave earlier was 20%. How can we make a modest improvement If we increase by 10% the number of people coming to maybe do business with us, and we increase by 10% the number that will do business by converting them, showing our value, and making raving fans of our product or service, that alone will explode your business result, right? We go further and we talk about average sale and frequency strategies. How can we increase, sell more, sell complementary other items, so sell more, raise our prices, and sell more often. 3 big things. What are your strategies and the expected outcomes you'll get if you do those? So let's go to kind of a wrap here. We're going to go to the website, and here you have it. You see it up here, SeanMcCarthy.com, and right up here on the right, hit contact. Click on that, and when you do, you're going to go to my screen. It allows you to send me a message. There it is. Put in your name, your email, tell me what you're interested in. But remember, Way to Wealth worksheet. Then, if you loved what you saw here and you want to see more, let me know. What should I stop doing? What should I start doing? What do I need to do more of in these sessions, less of? Rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. I always shoot for 11s. My wife loves that stuff. So tell me how well I did. And if you ask for the worksheet, I'll send that. And if you want to do some one-on-one coaching, click it on top. Because you attended this session, I'd love to sit down and help you develop your Way to Wealth worksheet to make your business explode in 2017 and beyond. And perhaps we start working together. We can give you some additional workshops, trainings, and a free book that I think will be an enormous help to you as you start managing your time better as a successful business owner. It's been a pleasure to work with you today, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Continued success. For now, McCarthy out.